Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you this morning on this Wednesday, September 4, and welcome to the Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital and our studio right here on Capitol Hill. Technically, the House and the Senate are still on vacation, but there's a lot going on here in our nation's capital at both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, at least until the president took off for Sweden. We'll keep you up to date bring you up to date on what the goings on here at the United States Capitol, just down the street from us, and at the White House as well. Well, finally, John Boehner and Eric Cantor discovered something they can agree with President Obama on. Too bad it had to be a war. But after yesterday's meeting with congressional leaders at the White House, both Boehner and Cantor said they support President Obama's call for a limited military strike on Syria. Yesterday on this show, we heard from Congressman Elijah Cummings and Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton about how they would vote on this issue. Today, we'll hear from three more members: David Cicilline from Rhode Island, also Jim Moran from the state of Virginia, and Senator Ben Cardin from the state of Maryland. Meanwhile, the president, as I said, is off in Sweden on a little stop before heading to the G20 in St. Petersburg, attempting to round up more support from our allies for a strike on Syria. You can join us anytime and talk about the issues. Don't forget, at our toll-free number, 866-55-PRESS. We want to hear from you, hear what these issues mean to you. You can join us on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Our job to bring you up to date on what's going on. Your job to tell us what it all means to you right here on the Bill Press Show.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids
you.
how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
against our greatest threat. Did you commit to change the world?
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
Yes, indeed. The full court press continues on Syria. Good morning, everybody. What do you say? Great to see you today. Here we are, middle of the week already. Woo! I love these short weeks. It is a Wednesday, September 4. This is the full court press. This is the Bill Press Show coming to you live, our own full court press, coming to you live from our nation's capital and our little hideaway right here on Capitol Hill, a radio factory and TV factory and online factory. Bringing you the news of the day, bringing the update on the news of the day, and most importantly, with our little town meeting style, being able to involve you in the conversation about the issues of the day. It's a two-way street here, so we look forward to hearing from you by phone at 866-55-PRESS. Look forward to hearing your comments, getting your comments on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook from all of our friends on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. And of course, we are coming out to you live on your local progressive talk radio station. You can listen in if you're lucky enough to have your progressive talk radio station wherever you happen to be. And if you're sitting near your computer, you can stream us live at youtube.com/TawkrTV. Don't forget, unusual spelling of Talker. It's TAWKR. The TAWKR TV. Talker TV. youtube.com/TawkrTV. Here we go. Peter Ogburn and Dan Henning. Hello, guys. Good morning.
Hey.
Good morning.
Leading up our team here this morning with Alicia Cruz on the phones and Cyprian Bolding, as always, on the video cam with the live stream. Before we get into all the news of the day, breaking news overnight that Ariel Castro, the man in Cleveland who had kidnapped those three women and held them prisoners in his home for about a decade, wasn't it?
Yeah, long time.
Was found dead in his prison cell last night, had committed suicide. It's unusual that they didn't have a better watch on him, but at any rate, he knew he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison, and he did. It just turned out to be shorter than they thought.
Yeah,
what? Saved us a lot of money.
Yeah, good riddance to bad rubbish,
exactly.
frankly, as far as I'm concerned. But it was interesting because, they had said that he was not on a suicide watch, but he was on sort of an alerted watch. So they were checking in on him every 30 minutes was the routine. Every 30 minutes they checked in on him. And I guess he sort of learned that routine. And after one time that they checked in on him, that's when he did it. When they checked back again, he was dead.
But the big news here in Washington, D.C., of course, continues to be the administration's push for a military strike on Syria now that the president has said he's going to give Congress the opportunity to debate it and to vote. Yesterday, a big hearing. Again, officially, Congress is in recess, but members came back yesterday for a special hearing of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee with Secretary of State John Kerry, Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel, and the head of the Joint Chiefs, Martin Dempsey, and also present, of course, had to be there, was our friend, one of the leaders and founders of Code Pink, Medea Benjamin. Boy, she shows up. If the president is giving a speech, she's there protesting. If it's the Senate Foreign Relations Committee or the House or whatever, she is there protesting. And she was there yesterday, and she disrupted the entire committee here.
Nobody wants this war. Bruce Mitchell, launching Bruce Mitchell means another war. The American people do not want this.
She was thrown out of the committee hearing and arrested for disrupting committee yesterday. Not the first time she's been. I see her in front of the White House all the time protesting.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, she is a professional protester.
It's her full-time job.
And she's good at it.
Yeah.
But yesterday, what was unusual is that John Kerry, who, of course, first came to public attention when he, as a Vietnam vet, was opposing the war in Vietnam in front of that very same committee. John Kerry gave her a little salute.
You know, the first time I testified before this committee when I was 27 years old, I had feelings very similar to that protester. And I would just say that is exactly why it is so important that we are all here having this debate.
Yes, indeed. We heard yesterday from a couple of members of Congress on this issue. Today we'll hear from a few more. David Cicilline from Rhode Island, former mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, will be joining us later in this hour. Senator Ben Cardin at the top of the next hour. And then a little bit later, we'll talk to Congressman Jim Moran from Northern Virginia. We'll tell you how it's going, get your comments. But first,
this is the Full Court Press.
Other headlines making news on this Wednesday. The judges panel for the 13th season of American Idol is now complete. Fox announcing yesterday that Harry Connick Jr. will join Jennifer Lopez and Keith Urban as the three main judges on this year's competition. Connick Jr. and J-Lo are filling the seats left empty by Mariah Carey and Nicki Minaj from last season. Randy Jackson is coming back. The former judge will be the show's in-house mentor. Of course, also the host, Ryan Seacrest, will be there as well.
I actually kind of like Harry Connick Jr.
It's a wild choice.
Yeah.
It's a really weird choice, I think. And I think that I hadn't heard that until just now.
Yeah,
and I normally, I hear about these things.
Yeah.
In sports, a historic beatdown at the U.S. Open last night. Serena Williams served up what's called a double bagel against Suarez Navarro in the quarterfinals. That's winning in 2 sets, 6-0, 6-0.
No.
The match lasted just 52 minutes.
Oh, God.
It's only the second time it's ever happened in a quarterfinal at the U.S. Open. The last to do so,
that's embarrassing.
Martina Navratilova back in 1989.
Whoa. Serena, man.
Damn. 52 minutes. Some sets last 52 minutes.
Yeah.
And Michelle Obama is ramping up the Let's Move campaign again this week now that school is back in session. With the help of some sports names, the First Lady will visit an elementary school here in Washington Friday with Shaquille O'Neal, the retired NBA star, also Olympic gymnast Dominic Dawes, who's the co-chair of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition, and Allison Felix, the track and field star who won gold and 2 silver medals in London last summer.
There she goes, Michelle Obama, back on the case.
Yeah.
As the president remains on the case on Syria, again, you know the issue, the administration claiming, I think with a lot of evidence, that chemical weapons were used in Syria. It is against the Chemical Weapons Convention, which 189 nations have signed. This is not the first time Syria has used these weapons. The president said the weapons were used, and orders were given, and the weapons were used at the direction of the Syrian regime. And the president has decided that there must be a military response to Syria. The United Nations won't do it because Russia or China would veto it. So therefore, the United States, he believes, must take the lead. But he says he will not do so until Congress has a chance to debate it and to vote up or down. That's where things were as we came into yesterday out of the weekend. And yesterday was a full day for the full court press at both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue. First, down at the White House in the cabinet room, President Obama welcomed the leaders, bipartisan leaders of the House and the Senate, and the chairs of the various committees, Foreign Relations and Armed Services committees, to make the case with his top administration officials. And the president, in his remarks before the closed-door meeting started, said again with the media and my fellow reporters standing there that this is not going to be a full-scale war here.
This is not Iraq, and this is not Afghanistan. This is a limited, proportional step that will send a clear message not only to the Assad regime, but also to other countries that may be interested in testing some of these international norms.
And the president made the statement and the promise that he has made and John Kerry has made, which is in no way, we ended two wars. We are not about to start a third one.
The military plan that has been developed by our Joint Chiefs and that I believe is appropriate is proportional. It is limited. It does not involve boots on the ground.
No boots on the ground. The president got a little boost yesterday, immediately after the meeting. The Speaker of the House, John Boehner, and the Democratic leader of the House, Nancy Pelosi, came in front of the microphones there at the little staging area we have just outside the entrance to the West Wing. And both express their support for the president's plan. John Boehner.
The use of these weapons have to be responded to, and only the United States has the capability and the capacity to stop Assad.
Nancy Pelosi.
Hundreds of children were killed, and we must respond.
And the president then took off last night for Sweden. He is the first American president ever to visit the city of Stockholm. He is there today on his way to the G20 in St. Petersburg, where he's trying to round up more support from our allies, including some active participation by their military in this strike, if Congress approves it. And then up on Capitol Hill yesterday, General Martin Dempsey, Secretary of State John Kerry, and Secretary of Defense Chuck Hagel appearing before the Foreign Relations Committee. We mentioned that little outburst by Medea Benjamin early. They got some tough questioning from Democrats and Republicans alike. Robert Menendez, well, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here at first. John Kerry, again, telling the senators and Chuck Hagel that it was a limited plan. The purpose was to not only send Bashar al-Assad a message, but to prevent and limit their capacity to use these chemical weapons again. And John Kerry warning the senators that not acting would send the wrong message.
The message is that he has been granted impunity, the freedom to choose to use the weapons again or force us to go through this cycle again with who knows what outcome after once refusing it. We would have granted him the capacity to use these weapons against more people.
And after the hearing, late last night, it was announced that Senator Menendez, the chairman, and Senator Corker, the ranking Republican, have rewritten the president's proposal and have reached agreement on a limited proposal which would allow the president to conduct a military strike against Syria, which would last no longer than 60 days with one 30-day extension. And that is what will be voted on by the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Meanwhile, the Washington Post and ABC News out today with the latest poll sampling American public opinion on this issue, which shows that the president still has an uphill struggle for sure to get the support of the American people and the Congress behind a military strike. In this latest Wash Post poll, 59% of Americans oppose any U.S.-only strike on Syria. It gets down to about 51%, as I recall, having read the article, if other nations are involved. It's the unilateral strike that most Americans, if other actions are involved, 46% would be in favor, 51% opposed. So from 59 opposed unilateral, 51 opposed, even with, let's say, Britain and France. That means that in this latest poll, only 36% support a unilateral airstrike by the United States. So I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get this vote. I still say I believe in the end that Congress will vote to support a limited strike. And I think more and more of the American people will support it once they recognize the horrific nature of these chemical weapons that were used, once they are convinced, as now most members of Congress are convinced, that in fact, I haven't heard anybody say the Syrian regime was not responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, the ones we talked to yesterday, Eleanor Holmes Norton and Elijah Cummings, both said they've been to the briefings and they accept the fact weapons were used and the Syrian government ordered them. The question now is, would a limited military response make any difference? What do you think? Your vote's as important as theirs is. 866-55-PRESS. Let's talk about it right here. Let's have our own vote here on the Full Court Press this Wednesday morning. Yes or no on Syria? And should we go it alone if our allies are not with us? 866-55-PRESS.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
then like The Bill Press Show on Facebook. This is The Bill Press Show.
26 minutes after the hour, a couple of leading voices weighing in on Syria yesterday. Before we get to your voices, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton said she fully supports what the president is asking for. Meanwhile, that other foreign policy expert who can see Russia from her front porch.
Oh, God.
Sarah Palin says, let Allah sort it out. That's her answer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, we got her take on this.
Thank you, Sarah.
We're taking your take on this, by the way, at BP Show on Twitter, at BP Show, where Vulcan Beard says, Bill, Congress should pass a budget and raise the debt ceiling before they vote to attack Syria so we don't strand the troops. And remember, we're also have a chat room at youtube.com/TawkrTV, TAWKRTV, where KSP Taylor says, how about warmonger John McCain getting busted playing video poker on his cell phone during war talks?
Yeah.
Which is something that happened yesterday.
Yeah, we're going to be talking more about the... put that poker app away.
Hang on.
I've got
a lot riding on this hand.
We're in the middle of a show here. Put that poker...
All right, I'm good. I'm done. Now I'm done.
Damn. I'm telling you.
I was in the middle of a good hand. I had a hot hand.
You can't get good help these days. I got to tell you. Here's one of our loyal team members here. He finds us somehow... finds a way to stay with us. That's our good friend Ike from Charleston on the TuneIn app on his smartphone. Ike, what do you say?
Yeah, hey, brother, if it wasn't for the smartphone, I wouldn't be able to listen to anybody with reasonable opinions.
That's why it's called a smartphone.
Exactly. Listen, I'm backing the president on surgical strikes. I want to point out that when the Kurds were gassed, George H.W. Bush threw up a no-fly zone. So, the president has been set on this. This is something that, and for the people out there that want to cry about we can't be the policeman of the world, hey, buck up, bucko. We're talking about the leader of the free world with the most powerful military in the world. That's your job. That's what you're here to do, whether you like it or not. As far as one other thing, just as a side note, I don't know what the big deal was about that Diana Nyad woman that jumped in and swept through the water there. And
come on, Ike.
Well, no, I mean a complete imposter showed up in Florida. That was Gary Shandling that got out of the water.
Oh, my God. Ike. Oh, you're killing me.
Ike wins. He wins the award again today. Always great to hear from you, Ike, and more calls coming up.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory? Did you take a chance?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Did you commit to change the world?
This is the Bill Press Show.
Hey, here we go. 33 minutes after the hour. What do you say on a Wednesday? Wednesday, September 4. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital and brought to you today by the National Education Association. Good men and women of the National Education Association, the NEA, creating great public schools for every student in America. You bet, administrators and teachers all. For more information, check out their website at NEA.org. And our thanks to our good friend, President Dennis Van Rokel of the NEA. We're talking Syria, the full court press underway on the part of the administration to convince members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats. It's interesting the way things are lining up. The president wanted a real substantive debate on in Congress. I'm not sure that's what we're going to get, but we, on the part of some, we will. And obviously, what we expect from our elected officials is they would look at this issue, they would say, what are the facts, and then what is best for the United States of America. Unfortunately, there are some people among Republicans who are just saying, how can we embarrass Barack Obama on this issue? Not what is best for America, but what is best for the Tea Party. But I want to remain an optimist that most Democrats and a good number of Republicans are just going to look at the merits of the issue, which is how it should be decided. We'll talk to Congressman David Cicilline from Rhode Island in the next segment of the show, and he's been giving this a lot of thought and get his take on it as well. Meanwhile, let's jump out to Hammond, Indiana. The great WCPT from Chicago gets all the way up into Indiana. Here's Steve. Hi, Steve.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, good. What's your take on this?
Well, you know, every time I hear about this, any kind of war, I just don't understand why do we have to constantly stick our nose in other countries' businesses?
Well, because for one reason, we signed, 189 other countries did too, a treaty that says we will not tolerate the use of chemical weapons, and Syria's used them. So what do? Just say, oh, too bad, look the other way?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just feel like every time there's something happening, it's like we gotta. Is there a benefit for us to do anything? Always like we have our hands in the pot.
Yeah, and you know what, Steve? I guess your cell phone's not really coming through too well, but I appreciate the call. I think, as Ike said, that kind of goes with the territory of being the one world superpower. I mean, there is a certain responsibility, though. You may not like it. Okay, so let's become a third-rate country like, oh, God, do I dare mention one? What do we want? You want to be Mexico? Probably not.
Sorry, Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, look, this question comes up a lot, and it came up during Iraq and Afghanistan, and I think a lot of people saw that and said, like, no, we're not the world's police. We shouldn't be the world's police. But we still went in and we did it. And on those, in some of those instances, for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And so now here we are, a legitimate, real reason. And
I just want to point out also, and Barack Obama's trying not to do this as just the United States. He hoped to have the UK. He does have France. And he wanted the United Nations. But when you got Russia, Putin vetoing anything the United Nations might do, then the choice is either let Bashar al-Assad get away with this or do something. Nathan, Nathan's calling from Delft, Holland, listening online at WCPT.
Hey there.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon, rather.
Good. Are you a Dutch citizen or an American living in Holland?
No, I'm an American citizen.
Living in Holland, yeah. How's it played to you? What do you see from your perspective?
Well, a lot of the Syria talk, at least from what I see here, is mostly about the nuances of the Russian natural gas supply into Northern Europe. So questions about pipeline, whether this is a proxy fight between Russia and Saudi Arabia or Qatar, kind of what it's turned into. But whether that really wasn't the nature of the comment that I wanted to make. I'm regardless of whether you think that a military strike in Syria by the United States over the chemical weapons issue is appropriate, I'm concerned that John Kerry, as Secretary of State, is kind of beating the drum for a military strike. I mean, isn't the Secretary of State supposed to be the head diplomat for the United States? And it seems to me that advocating for military strikes is an admission on the part of the head diplomat that diplomatic solutions are not possible.
I think that's a good point. I would say two things in response. One is, I think Kerry has made the point that they would prefer a diplomatic solution at any time, but there are some times when military action is imperative. And two, I think Kerry has made the distinction that we still seek a diplomatic solution to the civil war in Syria, but that the only way to deal with this chemical, since obviously they've asked thousands of times for Bashar al-Assad not to use chemical weapons, and he's turned around and used them at least twice that we know of. The French say he's used them many more times. That the only way it appears to convince Bashar al-Assad the use of chemical weapons will not be tolerated is some kind of military strike. So I think Kerry, Nathan, I appreciate the point. I think Kerry's been recognizes that sensitivity and has addressed it. I've heard him in most of his public comments. But you're certainly right. John Kerry's become the point man on this. I'll tell you, there's one other related issue that I find crazy about all this. Have you heard about the flap about President Obama and his phone call to John Boehner? The White House, as they do, they release photos just about every day of the president doing this or the president doing that. They're the official photos that the news agencies can then pick up and use or not use because White House press photographers are not around the president all the time. Peter Sousa is. He's a White House photographer. So this photo has President Obama on the phone. Joe Biden is sitting there alongside of his desk at the Oval Office, and the president is on the phone talking to John Boehner, and he's got his foot up on the desk. And Republicans are making a huge deal about this, saying this shows huge disrespect for the Oval Office and for John Boehner. The fact that he would be talking to John Boehner while his foot is up on the desk. Now, I'm not sure I can...
Give it a shot.
I'm going to give it a shot.
Give it a shot.
I got enough here. Okay.
There you go. All right, go for it.
So what he's doing is, I don't have a phone. Here's my phone. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
But he's got a phone with a cord. It's a hard line.
I'll play Joe Biden.
So he's got his foot up like this, all right? And he's talking.
And he's got the finger thing going.
And he's talking. You can see he's talking to John Boehner. So like that. So here's what I don't know. What's the big deal? Does this show disrespect for the studio? I'm sorry.
This is very disrespectful to me and everyone else here in the studio.
No, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, where does this come from?
I mean, just do the rest of the show like that.
Yeah, how comfortable is that?
Yeah.
Just with your foot up. Here, I'll put mine up, too.
You look like Captain Morgan.
I'll just go like this. I'll put
but
mine
it's
up. We're good to
BS.
go.
Obviously, the president's relaxed. He's talking to Boehner on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, they ought to be happy he's talking to Boehner on the phone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean... It drives me crazy. You know where this comes from? This comes from that BS with George Bush that you couldn't walk into the
Careful
you couldn't
now.
walk into the Oval Office unless you had a jacket and tie.
Right.
You know? There's nothing about this. This is not sacred, right? I mean, next you can't go to the Lincoln Memorial in shorts, right? I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, it is his office.
It's his office. He works there.
Yeah.
Right?
He runs the country from that office.
He's got a tie, he's got his suit jacket off. He's got his tie on, and it's crazy. I mean, I've been in the Oval Office on a Saturday when Bill Clinton came in with, he didn't have shorts, it just slacks and a sports shirt. I mean, yeah. But, by the way,
some people have seen him in less in that office.
I was just going to say, yeah. They make a big deal about President Obama with his foot on the desk. Think about what Bill Clinton did in the Oval Office, right? It's just insane. If you've seen that photograph, I mean, it just shows, again, to what extent the Obama haters will go. And unfortunately, a lot of this debate from the Republican side, that's what it's all about. It's the Obama haters who want Obama to fail the way David Cameron did. They want to embarrass him in the eyes of the world. That's their motivation. All right, Congressman David Cicilline from Rhode Island. Coming up next.
Follow us on Twitter @BP Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we go, 13 minutes now before the top of the hour. Senator Ben Cardin from Maryland joins us in the next hour, at the top of the next hour here on the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning. Good to have you with us. We are waiting to connect here with David Cicilline, Republican. I'm sorry. Whoa. Representative, Congressman from Rhode Island, a Democrat. In fact, Peter?
Yeah, really quick comment because one of our friends on Twitter, Phil, sent us a very helpful link. If you Google President's feet on desk,
which I just did,
you will see lots of images.
Igor Volsky, by the way, has tweeted already my photo.
It's becoming
a photo
thing
of me with my foot on the desk.
Yeah, I think it's Obama-ing. I think instead of Tebowing, we've got Obama-ing. Right? You've recreated the Obama pose.
Yeah.
If you Google President feet on desk, you'll see sort of a variety of presidents with their feet either propped up on the desk or as like President Obama did, had his foot sort of perched up there. There's Gerald Ford. I see George W. Bush. JFK there with his son hiding under the desk, like kids playing out in the Oval Office. Ronald Reagan, more pictures of Bush, a couple pictures of Obama, President Obama there. So it's not like this is holy ground here.
No, Republicans, some Republicans are making a big deal of nothing in this case. But a big deal about something is a debate in Congress next week, as soon as they get back, on whether or not to support a limited military strike against Syria for its use of chemical weapons. I have a soft spot in my heart for Rhode Island, since I married a native of Rhode Island, spent a lot of time up in the city of Providence, where David Cicilline was the great mayor of Providence and now represents Rhode Island in the United States Congress. Joining us on our news line this morning. Hey, Congressman, good to have you with us.
Good morning. Great to be with you.
You have you been able to attend any of the briefings here on the Hill this week?
Yes, I attended the classified briefing on Sunday and participated on Monday in a lengthy conference call with Secretary Kerry, Secretary Hagel, Ambassador Rice, Jim Clapper. So I've been able to participate in many hours of briefings as well as review many of the classified documents in connection with this.
From what you've heard, are you convinced, before we get to how you might vote, are you convinced that A, chemical weapons were used, and B, that the Syrian regime is responsible?
Yes. I think actually there was evidence released already that the preliminary lab reports show that this was sarin gas. Those obviously have to be confirmed. But I think it's pretty clear from the evidence that I received during the classified briefing that this was a chemical weapons attack and that the Assad regime was responsible for it. I think the remaining question is what, if any, response should come from the United States, particularly if it's the United States alone, and what will be effective in terms of protecting the national security interests of this country.
Are you more comfortable with the limited, the revised, I guess, proposal that appears to be what will be voted on now by the House and the Senate, a limited strike to 60 days?
Well, I think there's no question that if there is to be authorization, it has to be as narrowly tailored, as limited as it can be to achieve the purpose that the President has set forth. But I think we have a fundamental question to ask, and that is, whether or not a military strike will, in the end, in the final analysis, will it advance the national security interests of this country? Will it provide greater stability in the region? Will it lead to results which enhance the long-term national security interests of the United States? And, the case has not yet been made to me that this is actually the end result. There are a lot of uncertainties. People have been speaking about this as if, you'll do a military strike and we'll be very strategic and precise about it, and then that will be the end of the conversation about it. And I think most people who have thought about this carefully expect that there will be a response, that it won't go precisely the way the United States hopes it will go, that there is likely to be a response, and what are the implications of that response? What is likely to happen after that? What are the long-term consequences of this, further destabilizing the region, engaging people more deeply in a conflict? And, how do we avoid being dragged into the Syrian civil war? And this is all being asked in the context of enormous challenges we face here at home, responsibilities we have, urgent domestic priorities to get people back to work, to address a budget challenge, to deal with the continuing resolution, to pass a transportation bill, to fix our broken immigration system. So, we have major, major challenges in our own country, and I think we have to be cautious and proceed very carefully and deliberately and be certain that, we've thought carefully about all the implications of an action such as this before we undertake it. And we have a committee hearing today, which I'll be in Washington for before the Foreign Affairs Committee, and hear directly from Secretary Kerry and Secretary Hagel. But I have a lot of questions, as I think many members do, about whether this is in our national security interest.
What about the other side of that equation, Congressman? What about the what message does it send, or what about the risk of doing nothing, no response at all?
I think there's, that's the what makes this a very difficult question. But I think we also have to recognize that there is tremendous damage to our international credibility if we rush into a war without broad international support and without a real coalition, that without a clear objective and a complete understanding of all of the potential short and long-term consequences of taking military action. So I think, there's damage to be done in that context. There's no good answer here. There's no easy answer here.
No.
But I think we just have to think very carefully before we engage in yet another military operation. And, what's also very frustrating is, everyone has spoken about how this violates important international norms, and I recognize that this is an international norm. What's frustrating is that, this is an international norm shared by hundreds of countries all over the world, and yet once again we find ourselves to be the only country so far that's willing to actually vindicate or enforce this international norm. This should be a broad coalition of people all across the world who recognize and understand the dangers of chemical weapons, and it does seem frustrating that we're still at a place where, people expect the Americans to carry, if not the entire burden, almost all of it, to vindicate these principles. And maybe that's just the responsibility of a great nation, but it just seems unfair.
That does seem to come with the territory. If you had to vote today, Congressman, at this minute, how would you vote?
If I had to vote this second, and I'm glad we don't, I'm not persuaded that I have enough information to authorize the use of military force. I have an open mind. I'm going to listen really carefully, study all of the testimony today, but I have many more questions that need to be answered.
No, not an easy issue for sure, Congressman. Glad that you're spending so much time grappling with this issue, and we appreciate you spending time with us this morning. Thanks, Congressman. Thanks. David Cicilline.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look, your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids
you.
how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
is the Bill Press Show.
All right, Senator Ben Cardin at the top of the next hour here. Peter, comments.
Bill, you have lit the internet on fire with your Obama-ing, putting your foot up on the desk like the president did. Yeah, please don't do that anymore. Yeah. Dale says the pick of the president with his foot on the desk is extremely presidential. Republicans are so full of it that I can't stand it anymore. There's just no pleasing them. Get comfortable there, Mr. President.
Well, if I had time, I'd put my other foot up, too.
You look presidential.
I look presidential right now, yeah. We'll be back and take your calls and keep it going here on the Bill Press Show.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good to see you this morning on this Wednesday, September 4, and welcome to the Bill Press Show. We're coming to you live from our nation's capital and our studio right here on Capitol Hill. Technically, the House and the Senate are still on vacation, but there's a lot going on here in our nation's capital at both ends of Pennsylvania Avenue, at least until the president took off for Sweden. We'll keep you up to date bring you up to date on what the goings on here at the United States Capitol, just down the street from us, and at the White House as well. Well, finally, John Boehner and Eric Cantor discovered something they can agree with President Obama on. Too bad it had to be a war. But after yesterday's meeting with congressional leaders at the White House, both Boehner and Cantor said they support President Obama's call for a limited military strike on Syria. Yesterday on this show, we heard from Congressman Elijah Cummings and Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton about how they would vote on this issue. Today, we'll hear from three more members: David Cicilline from Rhode Island, also Jim Moran from the state of Virginia, and Senator Ben Cardin from the state of Maryland. Meanwhile, the president, as I said, is off in Sweden on a little stop before heading to the G20 in St. Petersburg, attempting to round up more support from our allies for a strike on Syria. You can join us anytime and talk about the issues. Don't forget, at our toll-free number, 866-55-PRESS. We want to hear from you, hear what these issues mean to you. You can join us on Twitter at BP Show and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Our job to bring you up to date on what's going on. Your job to tell us what it all means to you right here on the Bill Press Show.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know, you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
Broadcasting around the nation, on your radio, on your TV, and online. This is the Bill Press Show.
President Obama in Stockholm rounding up votes among allies. He certainly will be in St. Petersburg for a military strike against Syria. Good morning, everybody. The full court press has gone overseas this morning. It is a Wednesday, September 4. Great to see you today. Thank you for joining us here on the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning. We are right here on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C., coming to you live from our nation's capital and bringing you the news of the day and giving you a chance to sound off about it. Lots of conversation going on everywhere across this country today, not just in Washington, D.C., about what happened in Syria and whether there should be any military response. And if so, should the United States go it alone? That question in front of the United States Congress now after President Obama kind of did a lateral pass on Saturday saying he's convinced chemical weapons were used. He's convinced the Syrian regime is responsible. He thinks we ought to respond, but he will not do so without getting a vote from Congress. You want to join us? Give us your comments by phone at 866-55-PRESS, on Twitter at BP Show, and on Facebook at facebook.com/Bill Press Show. Peter Ugburn and Dan Henning.
Hey.
Leading up the team here this morning. Good morning, guys. With Alicia Cruz standing by to take your calls by phone. And we are coming to you live on your local Progressive Talk radio station, of course, as always. You can stream the show at youtube.com/TawkrTV.
That's it.
TawkrTV, you spell TAWKR.
Yep.
TAWKR TV. youtube.com/TawkrTV, and Cyprian Bolding on the video cam, keeping us looking good on that live stream. And by the way, next Monday, next Monday, September 9, is when we'll be up back on TV as well as radio on Free Speech TV. So very excited about that as well. Big hearing in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee yesterday. We will talk very shortly to a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, Senator Ben Cardin. John McCain got busted at the hearing because it was shown that somebody took a picture over his shoulder and he was sitting there with his smartphone playing poker.
Yeah, dummy.
What's that app?
It's VIP. There are a couple of poker games you can play on your iPhone. He was playing one called VIP Poker.
Uh-huh.
And so he was playing it in the middle of the hearing while they were
this is what it looks like?
Oh, no, I'm doing work over here. I'm not actually playing.
Yeah.
But he was playing during this hearing while they were debating whether or not they were going to bomb Syria, and he was playing poker. I got a hot hand right now.
Yeah, you got a hot hand right now.
It's work-related.
Yeah, of course.
It's work-related.
Yesterday, after the hearing, Senator McCain appeared on CNN, and Wolf Blitzer asked him about this little poker game.
Well, as much as I like to always listen in rapt attention constantly with remarks of my colleagues over a 3.5-hour period, occasionally I get a little bored, and and so I resorted. But the worst thing about it is I lost thousands of dollars on this game.
You what?
I lost thousands of dollars. I probably... Well, it was a poker game, and you play money.
But you were playing for real. You were playing for real money.
No.
Oh, all right. I just want to clarify that.
So Senator McCain admitted he was playing the poker game on a smartphone, but he was only playing for phony money.
Funny money, yeah.
Funny money. A little bit later, Congressman Jim Moran is going to be joining us to talk about the debate on Syria. But we start off with a member of that Senate Foreign Relations Committee who was at the hearing yesterday. Our good friend from the state of Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin. Hey, Senator, always good to have you on the program.
Well, thank you. It's always nice to be on your show. Appreciate it.
Now we have to get honest here. We have to fess up right from the beginning. Did you have your smartphone out, and were you playing poker during the hearing yesterday?
No, I tell you, we had full attendance, the entire committee there, stayed throughout the entire hearing. I found the hearing to be very important, very enlightening, and the questions and answers were, I think, telling, and it had an impact. As you're going to see, the resolution we consider today is different than what the administration submitted.
Right. Now, it was a very intense hearing, a lot of information out there. The administration obviously has to make the sale in Congress on the point that there was a use of chemical weapons, the Syrian regime was responsible, and there must be a military response. Do you believe they made the sale yesterday, Senator?
I think the evidence is overwhelming that the Syrian regime did use chemical weapons. Over 1,000 people were killed, many of whom were children, that it clearly violated international norms, and that the absence of any response would make it more likely that chemical weapons or other weapons of mass destruction would be used by the Syrian regime in the future. I think they made that case very clearly.
And tell us about the revised proposal that Senator Menendez and Senator Corker have come up with.
Well, the question was raised several times, including by me, as to whether the resolution submitted would allow troops on the ground. The administration said clearly that's not their intent. We said, well, we should close the door in the resolution we approved. So the resolution that we will take up today will be very clear about no American troops on the ground. It also will be of a limited duration, 60 days, in order to get the mission done. So this is to authorize a very focused mission on trying to degrade and deter the use of chemical weapons by the Syrian regime.
Are you concerned, Senator, several people have expressed to us that as to what Syria's response might be, that this could lead to an attack on Israel or an attack on Turkey or to some wider participation by the United States?
We have a closed meeting today, and I'm certain that this is going to come up. There are questions about how effective the military operation can be and what will be the response, and are we prepared to deal with the response without drawing us into the internal conflict within Syria. Those issues need to be dealt with, but I think Secretary Kerry made a very important point, and that is one thing we know for sure. If we stand by and do nothing, it's much more likely we're going to see the use of chemical weapons.
Right. So there's an unknown on both sides, right? I guess
there is an unknown on both sides, but there's no real good choice. But for the international community to stand by and allow the use of chemical weapons or other weapons of mass destruction is unacceptable.
How about the question about whether the United States should do it alone, Senator? Does that bother you? I mean, we hope to have the UK with us. We clearly will not. So this is once again the United States almost having to be the policeman of the world.
Well, this is an issue that we're going to talk about again in our meeting this morning. Absolutely, we need international support. We also need international participation. Secretary Kerry made the point that from a military point of view, we will have adequate support, and we don't want. There's a limit as to how many countries can participate in the military operation, but that we do. This is violating international norms, and there should be international response. It should not just be the United States.
Senator Ben Cardin from Maryland, our guest here on the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning. Senator, do you think President Obama made the right decision in holding things up and giving Congress a chance to debate this?
Well, the Constitution is clear that it's Congress's responsibility to authorize the use of military force. So I think the President was doing what many of us in Congress have asked for a long time, that when time permits, bring Congress into the equation. I think the open debate is good and healthy for the American people. To make the case to the American people through their members of Congress is very important. So I think we're going to be stronger as a result of Congress taking up this issue. A lot of us have compared this to what happened in Iraq, and there's a lot of concern. Voting for the use of military force is always a difficult decision. Here, the justification is clear, the use of chemical weapons, which has been demonstrated. In Iraq, it was the connection to 9/11 that was never really established by the administration. And as we pointed out, the authorization here that Congress will pass will be very limited, no troops on the ground, limited in duration. So I think the fact that he came to Congress has really focused the mission much more directly to the use of chemical weapons in a limited duration. And I think that has been a healthy for our country.
If the vote were being held today, Senator, how would you vote?
Well, I want to get the information from today's hearing, which I think is very, very important. But as I said yesterday, it's justified to use military force, considering what Assad did in the use of chemical weapons. There needs to be a response.
Do you believe that the United States Congress will vote that way?
I think we're heading towards a consensus that will approve a resolution. Obviously, it's a very difficult vote. It's always a matter of conscience. This is not one in which you can easily predict how the outcome will be.
It's a tough vote, and Senator, we know you're putting a lot of time and effort into it. We appreciate your taking time out for us this morning as a part of this process. Thanks, Senator.
Good talking to you as always.
All right,
Thanks.
Senator Ben Cardin, the state of Maryland, very, very seriously considering this, as are, I would hope, all members of Congress. That's what we expect, and we expect them to make the decision, vote up or vote down, expect to make the decision on what they believe, based on the evidence, is best for this country. And for you to argue this issue out, according to the same principles. 866-55-PRESS is our toll-free number. Let's talk about it here. I have not heard any member of Congress. We've talked to a lot of them so far, and we got. Do we have any more coming up? Yeah, Jim Moran from Virginia coming up a little bit later. Everyone we've talked to so far has said they're convinced chemical weapons were used, and the Syrian regime was responsible. I think that's established now. The question is, should there be a military response? Is it the job of the United States? And are we taking too big a risk by doing so that Syria might then do something even more dangerous? 866-55-PRESS. Let's talk about it.
Go mobile with Bill Press. Download podcasts at BillPressShow.com and listen anytime, anywhere. This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know, you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
This is the Bill Press Show.
It's 23 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick break from Syria in the next segment to talk about Made in America. New documentary out called The American Made Movie. Co-producer Nathan McGill is going to be in studio with us, with the head of the Alliance for American Manufacturing, Scott Paul. A very important issue, a series of very important issues too, and that debate is going on not just in the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, not just in classified briefings that Senator Cardin told us about. It's going on in carpools and offices and bars and homes and kitchen tables across the country. American people trying to come to grips with this. Oh my God, is this a third war in the Middle East, or is this just some limited military action that we have a moral imperative to do? President Obama says he's made his decision. Now he wants Congress and the American people to decide. From what we've seen this morning, again, it's going to be a hard sell. According to the latest ABC Washington Post poll, 59% of the American people oppose a unilateral strike by the United States. 51% oppose a strike, even with our allies. Donald's out in Oak Brook, Illinois. Sorry. Hey, Donald, good morning.
Hi, Bill. How you
Yeah.
doing?
What do you think?
Well, this thing is horribly wrong, and if it goes really bad, which I know it will, you got to remember, too, when all this business about limited strikes, Vietnam originally, when we all got drafted back in '66, Vietnam was supposed to be a limited strike, 6 months. And it went on for 10 years. Then Iraq also. Remember when Bush landed on the aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln?
Oh, yeah. The mission accomplished.
Mission's over with. And after 3 weeks, another 10 years, 4,000 GIs got killed. The truth of the matter is this. I was watching Kerry, and when he come up and he said, well, the world drew the red line. Oh, really? Well, where is the world? It doesn't seem like the world is behind any of us, really. We're handling this by ourselves, and here we go again. So my suggestion is this. When it does go horribly wrong, and we want this crackpot to stop using chemical weapons, which is going to end us leading us to use nuclear weapons, what we should do when it finally goes horribly wrong, and I love my president, I voted for him twice, we should suggest that these people, these politicians, are asked to step down. It's about time that they get some skin in the game themselves. We should get them out or insist that they step down from their office if it need be, and I hate to say this, but impeachment too. We should do to them what we should have done to Bush and Cheney at the time.
All right. Donald, strong feelings there. It's hell to be the world's superpower, right? So I think I'm going to get on board this. Let's let Estonia do it. Damn it, it's about time that Estonia stepped up to the plate. I'm sick and tired of it. Every time, it's the United States.
It's lonely here at the top.
This time, it's Estonia's turn. Or maybe Greece. Ben's out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, one of the great cities on the planet, listening on AM 1260. Hi, Ben.
Hi, how you doing, Bill?
I'm doing great, thank you. Weigh in here. What do you think?
Well, I think a lot of people don't understand that this is chemical warfare. Chemical and germ warfare is basically a weapon of mass destruction. If that had been done in a populous area, 30,000 would have been dead. He stepped over a line, and unfortunately, it's lonely at the top. And we are not the policeman, but we are an arbitrator, and we are that great shining city on the hill. We're a democracy, and we've got to look out for democratic ideals. And one of those ideals is you don't kill your own people with gas.
It does me, Ben, I agree, and I say, I'm a reluctant warrior, maybe, if you will, in this case, but when 189 nations sign the convention saying that you should never use these weapons, and if you do, you're going to be held responsible, to allow somebody to use them and not to do anything, that sends a horrible message.
World War I?
Huh?
Did you ever have a grandfather or an uncle who got mustard gas in World War I?
No, I didn't, but certainly millions of Americans did, and ever since that time, there's been this horror about these weapons. They are weapons of mass destruction, and we know he's got them, and we know he used them. in Merrimack? Merrimack, Wisconsin on 92.1, the mic out of Madison. Hey, Victor, what do you say? Good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, great. What's your point, quickly?
Well, I got a couple points. The first point is, you were talking about a moral imperative that we take care of the Syrian population. Don't we have a moral imperative to take care of our own population, the people that are in poverty, the people that are starving in our own country?
Yes, but do we only do one thing at a time? I mean, I've heard that argument before.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hear that a lot.
I'm very old-fashioned maybe, but I think we can take care of the environment, we can take care of education, we can take care of military needs, we can take care of healthcare. We can do all of this at the same time, and we must!
This is the Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Did you see the world differently? Did you celebrate the victory?
So today, I state clearly and with conviction America's commitment to seek the peace and security of a world without nuclear weapons.
Did you stand up against our greatest threat? Change the world.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Here we go, Wednesday morning, September 4, 33 minutes after the hour. Now, good to have you with us today here on the Bill Press Show. Don't forget, we're coming to you live on your local progressive talk radio station all across this great land of ours. You can also stream us live at youtube.com/TawkrTV, as long as you know how to spell Talker, TAWKR-TV. Isn't that how everybody spells Talker?
Yeah, right.
As of today, it is. And so, radio, live stream. Next Monday, we'll be back on television on Free Speech TV. Look forward to that. And we are coming to you live from our nation's capital, brought to you today by the United Steelworkers and their great international president, Leo Gerard. The United Steelworkers, North America's largest industrial union, representing over 1.2 million active and retired members. You can find out more about their good work at usw.org. And one thing Leo Gerard and the Steelworkers are always fighting for is getting America's manufacturing jobs back here getting manufacturing jobs back to the United States and increasing America's manufacturing base. That's sort of the subject of a new documentary out called American Made Movie. It debuts this week in theaters in Chicago and Atlanta, and later this week in Los Angeles and New York. Will be coming to your local theater near you. Scott Paul is the president of the Alliance for American Manufacturing and appears in the movie. He's been working on this issue for a long time, joining us in studio this morning. Hey, Scott.
Bill, good to be with you.
Hey, good to see you again. So the movie is out there. Nathan McGill, who's co-producer of the movie, might be joining us a little bit later. Tell us, this movie was how long in the making, and what's the focus of it?
Well, I know Nathan and Vincent Vittorio, his partner, worked on this movie for about 2 years, and I think they were inspired by this idea that individuals could make a difference. And it's a great movie. It's a great treatment of this topic, and it tells kind of both sides of it. It talks about how we got where we are, which is a lot of devastating manufacturing job loss. In fact, there's a former steel worker in the movie, Blue Wilson, who's sitting in the ruins of a factory in Detroit. To provide some perspective, it shifts to stories of people all over the country who are taking matters into their own hands, who are trying to make products in the United States and sell them. And it's some iconic companies like Louisville Slugger, New Balance shoes, a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a great character in the movie, Mark Andol, who I know Nathaniel came across, who had this dream of opening a store that would stock only American-made products, and even his friends and neighbors and family thought he was a little bit crazy to do this. And Mark and his family had been in manufacturing for a long time. So in many ways, it's a success story, and we're seeing some of that in manufacturing today. We're seeing a rebound, certainly in the auto sector, is coming on strong, and thanks to the administration's rescue, which was very unpopular when it was done, but people are happy they have great cars to buy now and that are very fuel efficient. So it tracks some of these success stories and talks about what is possible and what is our part in all of this. How can we make this movement flourish?
And we mentioned the Phantom co-producer Nathan McGill, who was in studio with us a month or so ago, and lo and behold, here he is.
I have appeared.
Just showed up. Hey, yes. Nathan, nice to see you.
It's good to see you again, too.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So you are launched this week where?
Yeah, we launched in Atlanta and Chicago. And then next week, we're going to be in New York and L.A. And then we kind of roll out from there. And we do, I think, probably about 10 cities. People can go to the website, theamericanmademovie.com, and see exactly where the film's playing. But the reception has been amazing. It's been awesome. The reaction from the audience. Really, the best advertisement for the movie is the movie itself. Yeah. Once you get a chance to see it and experience it and hear some of the stories that Scott was talking about, people, they wake up. Just like the last time we were here on the show where we talked about New Balance at great length, and we were all looking at our shoes, Yeah, there we go. See, check this out. Oh, yeah, there we go.
I didn't even realize that, this is the third time this morning I've had to put my feet on the desk.
Hey, well, the realization,
I didn't
that's
realize that
the
I
reaction.
was wearing American-made shoes. I'm proud of myself for having bought them.
That's the reaction from the movie when people see that and they realize, oh, wow, and they start looking at their stuff and they start say, where is this stuff made? And then they realize that there are people behind our products. It's sort of something that we forgot as a culture. We just forgot about it. We're very disposable people. We like to buy things and throw it away and not think too much about it. But there are people behind our products, people that make this stuff, craftsmen and women that are very talented individuals, skillfully trained. So.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I've always had great faith and reverence for American workers, right? We could make anything and make it better than anybody else on the planet. I think, Scott, I was interested to hear you say that manufacturing is coming back in this country. Now, autos for sure, and we are making better cars, putting out a better product, and reopening plants and hiring people back. Where else do we see manufacturing coming back?
Well, it is in urban areas, and I think it's a natural offshoot of kind of the slow food movement, farmers markets. People want locally sourced food in their restaurants. Now, particularly in urban areas, you see like San Francisco, New York, and others, you see urban manufacturers come in. And again, this is small scale. This isn't Henry Ford's assembly factory with 20,000 people. Right. This is a handful of people, but they're crafting great products. Even in Detroit, there's a company called Shinola, which is making watches and bicycles in the city of Detroit. And you're seeing this spring up all over the place, and you're seeing more people look at the label. And if you need a little bit more evidence, I mean, Walmart, which I think in many ways was responsible for driving a lot of manufacturing overseas, has pledged to put $50 billion more in American-made products on its shelves. Now we'll see if this is a head fake or not. I'm not going to hold my breath until I see the results. But even Walmart feels like they have to respond to this customer demand for Made in America.
Nathan, tell us about this store where they sell only. Can they do that? Only American-made goods?
It is a day-to-day challenge to figure out how to do it. But, it's not just Made in America goods. It's 100% American-made goods, because it's really more than about the product. It's more than just the products in the store. It's every component of that one product has to pass this vetting test to see if it can make it, because it is sort of a statement. It is that that's the thing of this character in the film, Mark Andel, this guy in Elma, New York. That is what keeps him very unique. There's no other store that's like this in the world, really. And he's got 2 locations now and doing quite well. The story inside the film talks about the up and down struggle it was to kind of get to this dream, to realize that this is something he wants to do, and it's sort of that Rocky Balboa story of, will this crazy idea actually work? Will it pay off? And
so these are totally 100% every component of these products, and it has to pass that test in order to
get into the store. Absolutely. And it would. Wow. Yeah, it is a really interesting thing. So pretty cool.
How about clothing?
Yeah, he's got clothing. He's got blue jeans. He's got and I think that's the interesting thing.
Even when we were Bangladesh, right? All the clothes that we wear.
Right, on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I mean, if you look where things are made. But, when we were doing the merchandising for the film, because the film's got to have T-shirts and movie posters and DVDs and all this sort of stuff, we said, well, look, if we're going to do this, let's live up to Mark's standards and try to see if we can do this. Wow. Can we make a DVD that's 100%? Can we make a CD that's 100%? And it was surprising that it was, I'm not going to say it was easy because we just had never done sort of this kind of thing before, but it was possible. There are manufacturers, there are people in the country that were able to provide us 100% T-shirts and make them and do the screen printing necessary, and as well as the DVDs and the CDs. And that was the surprising thing to me. I just had never thought about the plastics that go into something like that, And hey, it's all available on the website, so all I ask you to do is go there and spend all your money.
To American Made Movie, right?
Right, exactly. The American Made Movie, yeah.
TheAmericanMadeMovie.com. Well, you would have to You would have to, if you were selling merchandise. The last thing you want is for somebody to buy to buy a mug or something like that, and it comes out made in China, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know we took up the challenge at the Alliance for American Manufacturing. We were moving into a new office in Penn Quarter, and we challenged the architect to do it as American made as possible. And at first he said, "You got to be kidding me!" But then he and his team huddled, and it was like a treasure hunt for them. And every time they found something, it was they like rang a victory bell, and we ended up with an office that is almost entirely American made. The big exception, Bill, are the electronics, the computers and what have you, which is virtually
I was just thinking about that.
as you know, virtually impossible to
right.
find.
Yeah.
But even today, there's better news. Like Google is starting to make a smartphone, Fort Worth, Texas, 2,000 workers starting, called the Moto X. Apple's doing a Mac Pro, and again, a lot of imported components. But this is the first time these types of electronics have been made in the United States in a generation. So we are seeing more possibilities today than we have seen a long time. But in perspective, 99% of our footwear still imported, over 90% of our apparel still imported. So we have a long way to go.
But I think one of the factors that will really turn this around is popular demand and public demand. We want products made in America, which is why I think this movie is so important. I wanted to talk to you about it again. We're going to take a quick break and come back and get your comments, too, at 866-55-PRESS. But this movie can stir up awareness, of this issue and of the availability of products and the possibilities. Then I think we'll see more of a public response. Great. It's theamericanmademovie.com. Nathan McGill, Scott Paul here in studio with us. We'll be right back. Take your comments.
Get social with Bill Press. Like us at Facebook.com/Bill Press Show. This is The Bill Press Show.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork, loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED pep talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
This is the Bill Press Show.
Made in America. That's what we're talking about here on the Bill Press Show this Wednesday morning, September 4. Congressman Jim Moran from Northern Virginia joins us at the top of the next hour to get back into Syria. In studio with us, Scott Paul is president of the American Alliance for Manufacturing, the Alliance for American Manufacturing, and Nathan McGill, co-producer of the new documentary out this week, next week, just hitting a city near you, and Nathan McGill, co-producer, The American Made Movie, theamericanmademovie.com. Scott, I want to make sure people have your website, too. It is americanmanufacturing.org, right?
That's exactly right. You can find a lot of information about what's happening every day with manufacturing policy, who's saying what, and what's going on in your own state.
You represent companies or unions?
Yeah, we're unique, Bill. We're a labor management partnership. The steelworkers are one of our partners, and we have some domestic manufacturers who are committed to making things in this country, and we work and partner with a lot of the folks in the American Made Movie as well.
And I want to say a quick hello here, if we can, to Ron. Ron's calling from out in Chicago. Hey, Ron, what do you say?
Hi, Bill. How you doing?
Hi, good, thanks. What's your point or question?
I just want to let you know, there's a store in Northwest Illinois, suburbs of Chicago, called Norton's USA, Norton''s, and they sell all American items as well.
Norton's USA, is that what is it? Really?
Yes.
And where is it located?
In Barrington, Illinois.
Barrington, Illinois. Do you know about this, Nathan?
No, I'm not familiar with Norton's, but it sounds awesome. I'm glad that somebody else is out there doing a Made in America store. I think it's great when people see that there is a consumer demand for this, and I think it's a great angle.
Hey, Ron, thanks for letting us know. You ought to check that out, and we will. Barrington, Illinois. You told us the last time about you or your partner about Louisville Slugger. Now, this is a great story, right?
Yeah, I think that in Louisville Slugger and in the movie, we really use that company as an example of just how many people are behind a product. When you look at a game like baseball, you're obviously thinking about the players, the coaches, what the score is, you're in the experience. But to know that game wouldn't go off without these workers that are in